I really wish I would have seen this movie in theaters. What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Brothers Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my super late review for Searching. Searching came out in August of last year, starring John Cho, Deborah Messing, and this is a really good movie. I'm gonna get that right off the bat right now. Also, ahead of time, as usual, spoilers, because I'm gonna jump straight into it. Searching is a movie about John Cho's David Kim looking for his daughter Margot Kim after she goes missing. This happens over a week, and this movie does a really, really good job jumping into this type of situation and helping us kind of see what it's probably like for a parent to, have their child go missing. John Cho's performance is really, really great. I want to get that out the way first. Deborah Messing is really, really good in this film. The twist of the movie is really, really good, and they do a good job of kind of hiding it and having red herrings pop up, but also planting seeds so this stuff just doesn't come out of nowhere. Early on in the film, it starts out with giving the audience an idea of the relationship between John Cho's character and his wife, as they raise their daughter. And they kind of pull a Disney moment because they build that relationship only to kill her off because she dies from lymphoma, I believe. You can see that it affects her, and the way that this movie is constructed is really, really creative. Like, it's as if we're watching it from our laptops because it's all based on like a MacBook. When we see John Cho's character, it's through the FaceTime camera or some type of webcam. When he's at work, he has like a work meeting, video meeting that he's in. It's done through iMessage, text chats, emails, searching Google, this and that. So it's very, very voyeuristic, and I think that adds to the immersion of the film. And John Cho is great in this film. You can really, really see his descent into like panic, desperation as he tries to figure out mainly where his daughter is and who his daughter is, because he can't answer the question, who's his daughter, who are her friends, because he doesn't know any of them, because she essentially doesn't have any classmates that she considers friends. And throughout the movie, there are instances where you think this one person is up to it or behind it, or this one person would know something about it, only for it to turn out that it's a classmate that invited her to the study group, essentially to use her to pass whatever exam they have coming up because she's trying to get into Berkeley. Who, by the way, later pops up on Facebook crying and sobbing that that's her best friend. But we'll talk about that. That's a whole nother video for a whole different time. And we get, this one guy who's an asshole that's, making inappropriate comments on her Instagram photos or a Facebook post that John John Cho confronts him at the movie theater and gets into a fight with him. So this movie does a really, really, really good job of kind of jumping into that type of situation, only to find out that Deborah Messing's detective, who we were led to believe was assigned to the case, volunteered to take it on because it involved her son. Yup, her son basically created this persona online because Margot had started, posting on like this live stream website. He liked her. She in the confession that they got from her later on after she was arrested. He liked her since first grade. Created this persona to kind of get close to her and get to know her because he, like any teenage boy, shy teenage boy who I think might be on the spectrum because in the interview they said she says that he's different and that she covers for him because what they would do to a kid like him in jail. I don't know if that's just because he's shy or because he's actually on the spectrum. But anyway, he creates this persona, gets close to her, and then tells her that, oh, he's this waitress that stays in Pittsburgh whose mom is in the hospital due to cancer. Margot stops going to her piano lessons for 6 months, takes that money that her father gives her for the piano lessons, saves it up to give to this persona to cover the medical bills. That's how close that they've grown. And that's really her only friend, essentially, because as it starts out and he's trying to get in contact with people that may have information on her whereabouts, he realizes she doesn't have many classmates that are friends or any friends at all at school. So that was really, really interesting because, it makes you think, how would you react if you didn't know who your child was? Like, what would you do? Your child goes missing, and you need to do whatever you can in order to find out clues, or you just do what you can to find out clues. You get in contact with her friends or their friends or what have you, or you try to, but you realize that they don't have any. And they've been doing this, they've been stealing money and doing that. How would you react? So this movie opens up that type of conversation, and it makes you think, should I post on social media more with friends, or should my parents know, or other friends or family members know who to get in contact with if something were to happen? At least that's what I was thinking about. And so like I said earlier, they planted seeds really, really well, as far as like nothing being pulled out of nowhere. They plant seeds with her uncle having a jar of weed on his counter that John Cho mentions in a FaceTime video. And then when they bring up the fact that John thinks that his brother was molesting her or something like that due to conversations he's seen, he was really giving her weed and smoking and talking with her. And then he realizes, shit, I don't know my own daughter. She hated those lessons because it made her think of her mom. That's why she stopped going. And then he's just like, why would she tell you that, not me? And it's like, you never asked. She's You've been avoiding having this conversation with her for 2 years. Yeah, she came to me to talk about it. That's all we did, smoke and talk. So they did a good job of like maybe leaning into that. Like he buys cameras that he sets up in his house, and then he confronts him about it. They did a good job of Deborah Messing showing that she do anything for her son, because she tells him a story early on that her son had gone around the neighborhood saying, collecting money from people, saying that it was for moms and dads in blue or something like that, some organization. And one of the neighbors basically came asking for their money back, but she said, yes, I started the organization, and if you bring it up, I'm gonna deny any of it, but I'm doing what I needed to do to, because that was my son. Turns out that the persona that her son created and the money that Margot had given him, the jig was up. He wanted to give the money back. He did it kind of a weird way. She went to the lake that she frequented, sitting in her car, doors unlocked apparently, smoking. He just gets in the car. She freaks out, hits him, starts fighting him, this and that. Gets out the car, starts running, and that's when we get the 2 phone calls and the FaceTime call while John is asleep that he obviously doesn't answer earlier in the movie. He pushes her out of kind of like a reaction, and she falls down this ravine. So he calls her, and she says, look, I'm gonna take care of all this. She volunteers to take on the case once it kind of gets brought, once he brings it to the police department, so she can cover it up. She gets a guy, one of the convicts that she knew, because when he first got in contact with her, he looked her up, saw that she did some program where she built a building with a bunch of convicts. She got one of those convicts, she kind of forced him into confessing, put the video online just to cover her tracks. When they got the search party together, she crossed off 2 areas that she knew her body would probably be in, because it was like jagged and it wasn't safe to walk through or travel through. So they plant seeds really, really well, and the mystery portion of the movie is done really, really well. But again, overall, this is a Really good movie, guys, and I suggest that you see it. I don't want to talk about it too long, but it's a good movie. The performances in it are good, and it even ends on a happy note. You think at one point they pronounce her dead. He calls because of the suicide, not video, but the confession is not adding up for him. So he calls to speak to Deborah Messing's detective character, and that's when he finds out that she volunteered for it. He's like, you know what? I don't need to talk to her. Patch me over to the sheriff deputy or whatever. And they arrest her at a memorial that they're having for Margot. And then they figure out, she would have been down there for 5 days without water, but then they realize it would have been two because there was a really, really big storm that happened that stopped them from searching for that particular day, that she could have survived off the rainwater. So she actually survived down there in a ravine, and she was okay. The movie ends on a happy note. So this movie was throwing like twists and turns, and things that I weren't really expecting to happen. So yeah, again, this movie is really, really good. I suggest you check it out if you have the chance to. And again, I'm really disappointed that I didn't see this in theaters. Check out my other Super Late reviews. Check out the other movie reviews. My mom is coming into town, so I'm going to hang out with her. And I'm going to go see Captain Marvel at some point during the day or the evening. And then I'll probably try to record the review either that night to get it posted maybe Saturday or Sunday, surprisingly, or I'll just, wait to post it on the regular like Thursday or Tuesday timeline or Wednesday timeline. But stay posted for that. I'm really, really interested to see how this turns out because the premiere was last night and reactions are kind of mostly positive, but I'm paying more closely attention to the negative reactions. So like I said, stay tuned for that. Again, check out Searching. It's a really, really good film, guys. And check out the other videos as well. I'll hit you guys up.